G'day, Year 11. How you going? Today we're looking at net income. So basically, if we want to calculate how much income do we actually receive once we've accounted for all other sort of deductions that might be taking to our normal income. This is not including regular expenses like rent or mortgage repayments or food or things like that. This is just including things, a variety of things. We're going to look at superannuation. We're going to look at other things that we can use to calculate net income. So the first thing we need to recognize is gross income is basically how much money you earn, and your net income is your gross minus your deductions. Okay, so net income equals your gross income minus deductions. That's kind of all there is to it. So gross is kind of like all of the stuff, and then net is what you actually get at the end of the day. So let's have a look at some of these examples here. So for this one, we've got a weekly income, and then we've got all sorts of different deductions. Now, essentially, to find the net income, we've just got to find the gross income, which is given to us in the question. And then we have all of these deductions. We essentially just take all of these away. So we've got income tax, we've got union fees, we've got health insurance, and we've got an employee superannuation contribution. We're going to talk about that more in a moment. Okay, so they're all our deductions, and that's all we have to do mathematically to calculate our net income. Okay, so 139 minus 6.2 minus 9.4 minus 28.2, and then that gives us our net income. So 682.63, 682 point, was it 63? Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so relatively straightforward to understand with that. Now, what we're going to talk about here is superannuation. Now, superannuation essentially is an amount of money that you give to a superannuation firm, and they use that money to invest in things and essentially grow its value. You can't access your superannuation essentially until you're retired, or unless you have some sort of crisis in which you need to access it early. It's basically to help people support themselves when they're retired, so that they're less of a strain, they are less requiring government support once they stop working. So it's essentially a retirement fund. Now, it's a compulsory thing in Australia. Your employer, that is the person who you're working for, must make a 9.5% superannuation contribution. Okay, it's a compulsory thing. That's the sort of base rate. Now, that's usually paid on top of your usual income. So it means when something's advertised as a certain salary, there's got to be superannuation on top of that. However, an employee can elect to sacrifice some of their salary to add to their superannuation. So they basically get less money now, but more money later. And because the superannuation grows over time, the amount you invest, especially early on in your career, the amount you invest early on is going to grow significantly over time, so that you'll have more retirement savings. So it's a popular thing for people to do. The other reason why you might sacrifice salary for superannuation is there are tax benefits to that. So that 4% in this example that they contribute won't be taxed in the same way as if they had kept it as part of their salary. Okay, so at the end of the day, when we're trying to work out our net income, we really only need to think about the employee contribution. That is the optional contribution extra that someone might elect to do to sacrifice their salary. So how much superannuation is paid on behalf of their employer? So 9.5% of their salary. So it's that value, and then times by 9.5%. And that's as simple as it is to calculate the employer contribution. So 56092 and then times 9.5%. And that gives us our answer of 5328.74, was it? Okay, so every year, that amount of money is going into the superannuation fund, but is also going to be growing over time. That growth rate will vary, but that's typically what will happen. Okay, B, how much does Paul contribute himself? So it's just the same thing, but this time it's 4%. Okay, so if you've still got your calculator there, you can just delete that and replace it with 4. And we've got 2243.68. $2243.68 per year. They take out of their salary and put towards their superannuation fund. And then what is Paul income less his superannuation contribution? So this is where we need to be able to tell the difference between the employer contribution and the employee contribution. It's only the employee contribution that's taken out of their income. Okay, the employer one is added on top of, so it doesn't affect their salary. So then we just have our value, and we're taking away the employee contribution, which is that value there, and that will give us our answer. So minus 2243.68. Okay, 53848.32. 53848. Was that right? 32, sorry. Yeah. Okay, so that's basically how much he'll actually receive, because he's taken out that superannuation part. And then what's the total amount in your superannuation fund per year? Then it's just simply the two values that we calculated for A and B added together. Okay, so 5328.74 plus 2243.68. 7572. Is it 0.42? Whoops. 0.42, yes. Okay, so that's the total amount paid into superannuation fund. Okay, last question. Calculate the annual net income for an employee. So we've got our gross income, union fees, tax, and then an employee superannuation contribution of the gross income, and then private health insurance with a $500 excess. Okay, so basically what we need to do is we've got our gross income, and then we need to take away all of these deductions. Okay, so 276 in union fees, tax, whoops, and then 4% of our gross income, and then our $500 excess, and then pop that in our calculator. So this one is sort of like the first question we did, except we're also including the employee contribution to the superannuation, 521.89 minus the net income times by 4%, and then minus 500 at the end as well. Okay, and there we have it, 55671 0.07. So that's how much money they actually sort of get to keep, and we haven't even started to talk about expenses. Okay, so yes, when you see an advertised salary, you need to account for other factors as to how much money they're actually getting. But this gives you some idea of that. Okay, next lesson we're going to look into tax a bit more. But good luck with today's work, and I'll see you later.